Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank AMRO for inviting me to deliver a keynote speech on this excellent event of the ASEAN +3 Economic Cooperation and Financial Stability Forum. In this opportunity, I would like to also greet His Excellency Arkom Tempitayat Paisit, Minister of Finance of Thailand, Dr. Lee Ko-ching, Director of AMRO, and distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to appreciate a consistent effort that has been shown by AMRO in providing a platform for government in the region together with regional development partners and counterparts to exchange knowledge, experiences, as well as views on current issues that become our common interests and challenges in the region. I believe this kind of platform would benefit member countries in the region to get valuable insight and reference to formulate our respective domestic policy in responding to the current global challenges. I also believe AMRO would get many benefits to better strengthening capacity to identify and how can the surveillance work be improved and improving the capacity of all member countries to address key risks and challenges in the region. Following the previously mentioned context, let me share 3 key points that I would like to underline in my speech. First, the current global and regional challenges. Second, the role that can be further improved by ASEAN +3 cooperation. And my final point is about strengthening the role of AMRO. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are all agree that the global economic situation has been developing in a very dynamic and extremely difficult, creating a huge challenge for all policymakers, leading to a deteriorating growth, which is created by the high inflation and response from the monetary side. We are, even in this case, have the probability of facing the possibility of recession while the inflation is still continue high. Pandemic COVID-19 has certainly improved in most countries, although some countries still have to face with the situation. And the risk now globally has shifted toward various economic and financial shocks. The IMF has projected that the global economic situation will decelerate. The growth globally will be declined from 6% in 2021 to only 3.2% in 2022, and only then reduce further to become 2.7% in 2023. This continuous downward revision of global economic outlook, providing a real risk which is now facing by major countries, including in our region. Multiple factors have fueled the condition, such as the war in Ukraine, that's creating an escalated risk in the form of food, energy, and fertilizer crisis. This crisis has created an increasing inflation, the worst in almost 40 years for many advanced countries. This situation then responded by a tightening monetary policy and increasing interest rate that lead to the high capital outflow in many emerging and developing countries and weakening of the currency. The major near-term challenges for many countries, then how we have to address the inflation without weakening the economy, how we can address the pressure in the price of especially food and energy without weakening the performance of the economy. Financial market pressure, debt distress, and also increasing vulnerability on the financial sector need to be anticipated geopolitical fragmentation also creating a much challenging environment. With this kind of situation, some Asia-Pacific countries are still performing well. And this can be seen in the form of growth trajectory. Several ASEAN countries, such as Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Indonesia, have experienced increasing growth trend in the first quarter up to the third quarter of 2022. Indonesia, for example, we can maintain our growth rate above 5% for 4 quarters in a row, with the last quarter, that is the third quarter of 2022, we reached the recovery of the economy at 5.7%. Strong domestic demand combined with a strong export, especially also supported by commodity prices, has creating a very significant contribution to this growth performance. The recovery in many other Asia-Pacific countries are also relatively robust. The foundation for the Asia-Pacific country to continue thriving is there. But we have to be also very mindful of the global challenges. 2023 is expected to become more challenging with a high recession probability in many advanced countries and also still continue high inflation that is followed by high interest rate. This kind of environment is going to be one of the most challenging tasks for policymakers to face in 2023. Well-calibrated, well-planned, well-communicated policy are very critical because we are dealing with all economic players and market that can be very volatile. We need to effectively also use all available tools to prevent economic confidence from failing further. Global economic recovery definitely under threat, and we need all to establish a strong collaboration among stakeholders. Those developments bring us to the memory when we set up ASEAN Plus 3 or APT from the very beginning. That memory back to the ASEAN financial crisis in 1997, 25 years ago, in which the Southeast Asia are the center of the crisis. During that difficult situation, the 10 ASEAN members, as well as People's Republic of China, Japan, and Republic of Korea, realized that it is important to strengthen economic cooperation and establish our own financial safety net to prevent similar crises that can occur. In the joint statement on the East Asia cooperation on November 28, 1999, the APT leaders underscore the commitment to build mutual relation in accordance with the purpose and principle of the UN Charter, the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, and the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia. We also respecting universally recognized principle of international law. At that time, we had the spirit to create our regional financial safety net with Asia Way, using our own capacity and expected to be more effective compared to the existing facility in order to maintain stability and confidence to our region. Based on the situation, the finance track of the ASEAN Plus 3 initiate the development of Chiang Mai Initiative Multilateralization, CMIM, ASEAN Bond Market Initiative, ABMI, and then ASEAN Plus 3 Macroeconomic Research Office, or AMRO. This is a very timely as well as relevant initiative for our region. This is also need to be developed to become a backbone of regional stability. We need to continue pursuing this ambitious goal. How ASEAN Plus 3 or Asia in general could establish an effective, credible, and trustable financial safety net. So this brings me to my second point. As of 2019, the total ASEAN Plus 3 trade reached $890.2 billion US. This is accounting for 31.6% of the ASEAN total merchandise trade. Foreign direct investment from the Plus 3 countries to ASEAN reached $32 billion US in 2019, or 19.9% of the total FDI to the ASEAN. This signifies the ASEAN Plus 3, which is also continue need to be strengthened and developed to promote regional economic cooperation. To compare with the geopolitical situation today that tend to be fragmented, dominated, and rivalry, ASEAN Plus 3 has become the symbol and beacon of ongoing commitment to form a deeper economic integration as well as financial cooperation. This is certainly can strengthen our resiliency and sustainability of our good performance in the economic front. That's why we need to continue this initiative and should play a bigger role in the future of the ASEAN. It is on my note that this event have discussed the global economic challenges at the first session. I touched a bit on that earlier, and now I would like to continue with the role of ASEAN Plus 3. ASEAN Plus 3 need to identify further enhancement of the regional collaboration. In addition to the global economic challenges, we witnesses several game changers, among other digital technology, environment and sustainability agenda, disaster, natural disaster, and international taxation cooperation. I am pleased to note the progress achieved for the ASEAN Plus 3 future initiative discussed under ASEAN Plus 3 Finance Minister and Central Bank Governor meeting, or AFMGM Plus 3. This has been conducted last May this year. But I would like to also take this opportunity to share with you the result of our own presidency, that is presidency for G20. On the global economic challenges, G20 committed to well-calibrated, well-planned, and well-communicated policy. On the food and energy insecurity, we need to elaborate further cooperation at the global scale, identifying the source and resources to address these two important issues. On future pandemic, we developed global platform for health, pandemic prevention and preparedness, as well as response. On the financial sector, we in the G20 discussed the report of exit strategies and mitigation for scarring effect in the financial institution, as well as utilizing technology for an enhanced risk monitoring. On a cross-border payment, G20 have established ASEAN Plus 3, ASEAN 5 central banks signed agreement on a cross-border payment. On sustainable infrastructure investment and sustainable finance, we are continue mobilizing the role of private sector in financing the green economy and transformation. Harnessing digitalization to increase financial inclusion is part of the G20 important agenda. And on the two-pillar international tax package, we also achieve a certain progress, although some delay is actually still happening. It is my humble wishes that the ASEAN Plus 3 will work on two fronts. First, strengthening its existing initiative. CMIM is a fast-growing initiative. We do not have a hand experience on this implementation, so we have to further enhance the modality, for example, by introducing new tools for facilitating the financing need under CMIM. We also need to create the first self-help mechanism for its member that preferred by members. We may also review the platform that we now have a pool of commitment to alternative arrangement for a better and for more effective support. Second, expand its regional collaboration by continuing the good and strong result of the G20 and other fora as applicable, adjusted, of course, with the regional specific situation and need. Let me give the example: regional cooperation on sustainable finance, transition finance, financial digitalization, fintech, as well as cross-border payment are all these examples which need to be continued expanded. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, on the roles of AMRO. Given the changing global situation, it is obvious for AMRO to enhance the capacity, especially on the surveillance and effectively looking at the risks and identifying the risks of our region. This is definitely will support the CMIM implementation. The capacity to see the actual challenges faced by member and how to assist member policy formulation, especially in establishing and strengthening stability while facing with this volatile and dynamic situation, and how the AMRO can strengthen the surveillance framework. AMRO must be agile, aware, and adapt, as well as responsive to the members and regional challenges. After 10 years of operation, AMRO need to continue build its reputation and reliability, accumulated competitive advantage of the knowledge in the regions, and how this is then linked to the regional economic and financial stability. In this regard, stronger organizational structure of AMRO is needed. By strengthening AMRO governance, promoting diversity, inclusivity in the AMRO human resources. ASEAN Plus 3 grows with new initiative. AMRO also needs to plan ahead its role in supporting the region, keeping the pace with the new initiative and supporting overall process of the ASEAN Finance Minister, Central Bank Governor Plus 3 are equally important to enhance the macroeconomic surveillance capacity of AMRO. Before I conclude my remark, I would like to share with you that during the ASEAN chairmanship handover last November, our President Jokowi, has announced that our theme for the ASEAN chairmanship next year is ASEAN Matters, epicentrum of growth. Finance process must support this objective. ASEAN must become and continue become a peaceful region and an anchor for the global stability, consistently uphold international law, and not to be a proxy to any powers. ASEAN must also be a region with robust, inclusive, sustainable economic growth. Economic growth has and will always be the story of ASEAN. ASEAN capacity must also be strengthened to respond to the challenges of the next 20 years, to become more adaptive, responsive, and continue to be competitive. We must fight to achieve all this through our ASEAN way, consistent with the spirit of cooperation and fully implement the ASEAN Charter. Indonesia, together with Japan, will act as the co-chair of the ASEAN Plus 3 finance process. I look forward to all ASEAN Plus 3 members' support for our chairmanship, as well as AMRO, to successfully improving and continue maintaining the resiliency of ASEAN facing with the current global and regional dynamic. I look forward to your participation in Indonesia next year. ASEAN Matters epicentrum of growth. Thank you so much.